Alrighty, good afternoon. So today I thought we'd go on to what the coil does, how it works, a little bit about your charging system, and we're also going to talk about starters and flywheels. I don't want to put too much on the plate at once, but I figure if we go basically, today we're going to try to accomplish if it's a no start, if it's a no spark on the end of your plug. So stay tuned. You're probably going to hear more than you want to hear. So welcome back. My name is Eric, if you didn't already know that, and what we try to do is put out videos that will help basically the homeowner, the do-it-yourselfer, the night and weekends warrior that's working on engines and stuff, and even you guys that are trying to run a repair shop that are just getting in and trying to learn the ropes. So hopefully you will find this helpful. And what I want you to do is, if you have any questions at all, if I skipped over something that's important, I'm going to ask my guys, Jason, Travis, Amos, Ed, to point it out, because I don't want to lead you down a path and assume that you know more than what you know, okay? So it's going to be good, because it's going to be a group effort of trying to teach what we need to know about that coil. So let me come around here first, and let's look at this is a Briggs & Stratton. It's a single cylinder, and for whatever reason we end up scrapping it, all right? The head's missing on it. But I saw it and I said, you know what, that'd be a great learning prop to work from. So today we're talking about the coil, and this goes to the spark plug. So let's start off first if you're getting no spark. Let's take a step back. Let's say you turn the key switch and you got nothing, no clicking, no nothing. First place I want you to check, it's usually tucked in behind this firewall between the battery and here, or underneath the seat if you got a zero turn. There's usually a 15, 20, or 30 amp fuse, and that protects the whole circuit. And a lot of times if you take that fuse out and put a new one in, that'll solve your problems. If you put it in and it blows again in a short time, you best be looking to find out where it's grounding on the frame. The hot wire somewhere is touching the frame and grounding out, causing it to take the fuse out. Don't cut the fuse out and hot wire it together, or you're going to catch your lawnmower on fire, guaranteed. So if we turn the key and we've got this turning over, but we're not getting spark out of the plug, what should we do next? When I'm talking about trying to diagnose a riding lawnmower, that a no spark can be produced by any one of your safety switches not engaged or disengaged, one or the other. It means it's not allowing contact to get to it, so it's keeping the coil grounded. So if the coil is grounded, it will not fire. So the best way to eliminate the whole system is to, if you look on any coil, you will see a small wire. And that small wire is your ground wire. And it just simply plugs in. Okay, I unplugged it. Now, what am I doing when I unplug that? When I'm unplugging that, what I'm trying to do is there something in the system, a safety switch, that's telling my motor not to allow fire to come to the coil? See, a lot of people don't do this step and they go ahead and they think it's either a bad coil, so they go buy another coil, and this still doesn't help. This thing of unplugging it is going to let you know that it has nothing to do with the coil. If you unplug that with your plug back in, I mean, I don't have the head here, but the spark plug back in, and you turn the switch and it fires up, you know it's not this part of the system, right? So now it's going to be walking yourself backwards through the system to try to find out which safety switch is causing it to ground. And that's what the safety switches do, is if one of them disengages, let's say on the seat switch, if you don't set your parking brake and you get off that seat, what happens? The motor should die. Because the safety switch underneath the seat is designed so that if you fall off the lawnmower, have a stroke, have a heart attack, what have you, and you fall off that seat, it will shut the mower off. It's a safety feature that I see so many people take and bypass it. And my biggest question is, why? You know, it's there for your safety. And if you're running a shop, it's up to you. But in my shop, if I find a safety switch that's been disconnected, it will be connected before it leaves the shop. They can change it once it leaves the shop. But I'm liable if somebody gets hurt if I disconnect a safety switch. Or if the owner says, can you just bypass the seat switch? If you do that, even though he or she told you to do that, you as an owner, shop owner, and you as an individual are liable if somebody gets hurt on that unit. There are reasons that the safety switches are there. Straight up. And the safety switches that I know that are on the system, I believe deep down is 100% yes, they need to be there. And it's there to protect you. It's not there to protect the companies that are doing it. It's there to protect you while you're out mowing your yard. All right, so we take this off and we get fire. All right, so you can simply just take and plug this back in, or you can just ground the coil out, or you can unplug the coil wire to shut it off. So now you want to take and plug this back in. You want to start checking continuity ohms on your safety switches. And a lot of times what I find is when you locate the safety switch, you could tell just by looking at it whether it's bad or not. Most often it's usually broke or brittle or something like that, or it's stuck. So you would have to walk yourself backwards on the system. And is it time consuming? It can be, but the normal safety switches that you need to look for is one, your brake pedal. If your brake pedal's all the way down locked in, it bypasses that switch. If your brake pedal's up, it won't allow you to turn it over. That's one safety switch. So if you push the pedal down and you lock your brake on, it'll bypass that one. If you're sitting on the seat, it will bypass that one. Now most mowers, the seat is interconnected to the PTO, okay? So if you set the parking brake and you lock the brake down, a lot of times you don't even have to be sitting on it to turn it over and start it, okay? But the minute you have the PTO in, then it will not allow it to start. And it's happened to the best of our customers. They're out mowing the yard and then they decide they're going to run in and grab something to drink, and they shut the mower off in front of their porch or what have you. They go back out and they can't get it to do anything. And 9 times out of 10 is simply because they never disengaged the PTO when they came to a stop. They just turned the machine off. And then when they went to turn the machine on, the PTO was either on here, electric, or on the dash, manual, or down here, manual, and it's not back in the disengage where it's hitting the safety switch saying it's okay to start. So let's keep going. So the next thing is is you got this far, right? And if you're having problems, maybe she's firing, but she's not, it's kicking back and this and that. Quickest way is if you look right down here, you will see where the flywheel key goes in. And if that is moved and it sheared that flywheel key or it bent it, then it's not going to be firing at the right time. And that will cause issues. So that's one thing you can look at once you get the cover off, is look for the flywheel key and see that it's in place and it hasn't moved or shucked or something like that. So the next thing is, a lot of times what happens if you let it sit, like through the winter out in the elements and everything, your magnet will start to, this is your magnet right here. And as it goes by, it's producing energy into here for this to fire. And a lot of times what happens is the gap in between your coil and your magnet gets out of whack. Whether it's too far away now and it's not getting a good hit. And a lot of times the best way to do that, what we do, is we simply take a piece of emery cloth. You can buy that just about any auto parts. We buy ours online, to be honest with you. And you get it in the rolls. And you don't need much. But you're just going to take a little piece, it's like sandpaper, and you're going to want to do this on the magnet. See all that rust? That rust is inhibiting it from getting a good spark. It may be a light spark, but not enough of a spark to have it hit good for the spark plug. So if you notice you have a dim spark, this is probably your culprit, is either this or right on the coil itself. So I can see that this is going to be, today is going to be on the coil, I guess. So when it comes to the coil, gap is important. How much gap is there between the flywheel and the coil itself? So how do you know what gap to set it at? You can do it a couple different ways. I know, Jason, you're going to say something. Old school is you take a business card and you simply set it down in and use that, bring it, loosen these two screws and then bring that right up tight to the business card so you can pull it out and leave it in there and tighten it down, and then you can go along your way. Or you can do it the other way, which just find out what the clearance is on that and then use your feeler gauges to just find out what distance it is. And that simply is just loosening these two screws up, and that allows that coil to move in or out. And when it's in the out position, that's when you want to use your feeler gauge. And different engines require different gaps, but I know that here, for most part, business card right in there, and you're good to go. Alright, so hopefully I haven't confused you. I think to get into the starter and the flywheel, the stator, and all the other stuff is going to have to be on another video. Because I don't want to try to throw too much at you at once. I want you to be able to watch a video and know start to finish that when you get to the end, you're like, okay, I understand that. If you're not, let me know, because that means I'm going too fast and I'm putting too much crap out at one time for you to absorb. Because that's what I'm trying to do, is I'm trying to teach you. Some of you, you're just watching it for entertainment value, right? I don't blame you. But for others, you're seriously wanting to know. You know, if you're a guy that has his little garage turned into a shop, that he does his own stuff, he wants to learn. You want to learn, right? And who better to learn from somebody that does it every day? And I'm going to start involving Claude into some of these too, because he comes at it from a different angle. And he doesn't know how to talk layman terms, because he'll talk about how starters and windings and this and that. And well, let's end this here today on this. Appreciate you guys watching. If you have any questions, please throw in the comments. If any of you guys, my guys, if I missed something or I assumed somebody knew something that and I didn't cover it, speak up, please. You know, we want everybody to do it and do it right and do it safely. So on that note, don't forget to like and subscribe if you could, and share it to your friends. If we could teach one person, help one person out, then I've done my job.